And welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. We are sitting down with Dr. Nick today, and we're talking about influence. Great to see you this morning.
Morning, Whitney.
Let's talk about
Happy
influence,
Sunday.
because even if we don't mean to carry one or be one, we all are one.
I am fascinated by how many people I work with who will say to me, I have nothing to offer.
Oh.
No. And I look at them and I'm like, so you're telling me when you go into that room, you don't feel like you've got any power, any presence? I said, what if you were to think that when you walk into that room, you're taking negative power? That the example you're setting is not, in other words, don't tell me that we don't have an influence, I guess is my point. We all influence one another, and it's how we do it. We talk about, well, it's not my job to try to change you. No, it's not my job. But remember our quote we were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Example is not just one ingredient. Example?
Yeah.
What was it?
I'll grab it. Hold on.
Wait, it was something. I love
It's a beautiful
Whitney.
quote, but it's hard to regurgitate.
But it really hit me.
Okay, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing.
What a great line. I
Example.
can't believe I can't memorize that. It's the only thing, which means our behaviors influence. Sydney Joy's all upset. Do you think that the way you respond is going to influence her?
Absolutely.
And so if you get all upset,
Right.
you're just feeding off of each other. So we have to think of not so much always reacting to, but I am influencing. And to say, the other thing that bugs me is this thing of, well, actions speak louder than words. No, words speak loud. What we say, how we say it, that's an example, Whitney.
Right. So we should
How
choose them
I
carefully.
talk to people and how I confront situations, or how I start my morning when I walk into that office. That's influential.
Right. Big smile,
Right?
happy,
Big smile.
make someone's day.
Good morning. I hope you have a great day. Anything you need? May I help you with something? It's just influencing. I just don't think we realize how powerful we are.
Yeah, and yet that's also a burden. I mean, when every step we take and every walk we walk and every word that comes out of our mouth is an example and an influence on others, wow, that's powerful.
Now that's really interesting. I don't think of it that much of a burden. It's interesting. I'm wondering if you're coming from eyes on Whitney all the time. I don't know.
I guess
Do you feel like it's hard for you to not be aware?
No. And luckily, I never feel like I have to change my persona.
I was going to say, I
So,
don't see it in you at all.
No, but I'm just thinking for other people that
Well,
it could
but
be
I do think that
difficult.
there may be something to the burden. I do think if we get overloaded and become too self-conscious of it, you're right, it could be.
Yeah.
But my thought on the whole influential is just that we don't know the effect we have on people. We
Even
may
if-
not even. I've had people come up to me and say, that segment really was life-changing, or your book is. I didn't write it for that purpose.
Right.
Huh?
But that was a result.
Your desire for years has been to have a show like this.
I know. And so to
It's-
do it
it's
is
been
just wonderful.
And to think of the influence that you have and the power that you have on a Sunday morning.
Right.
But would you agree with me that words do count?
Oh,
Would you agree
absolutely.
with me that sometimes we say it's in the action? And I'm like, what does that mean? Words are action?
Right. And one of my favorite expressions is, you can't unscramble eggs.
You can't unscramble eggs.
And therefore, actions and words are hugely important.
So
because
important. There's a
can't
great
take it
story of the
back.
father who takes his son to the tree and tells him to hammer this huge nail in it. And so the son does it, and he looks at him afterwards. He says, look what you've done to that tree. Be careful with your words. Because once they strike,
Once they're
in, they're in. Now that's where it becomes burdensome.
Right.
Now you're on it when you say it can be a burden, right?
Right.
Because we make mistakes.
Because we do.
We make mistakes.
And that's when we have to go back
make
and say,
mistakes.
I'm sorry.
And pardon me, but that's when I'm all about saying I'm a sinner. I make mistakes, fine.
Right.
It doesn't devalue me.
Right. I'll just try to do better next time.
Yeah, and thank you for the feedback, because I want to be an influence for good.
For good. Yes, right. And we're all an influence, even for those who don't feel very important.
Third graders are influential on first. Older brothers are influential on younger brothers, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter what age you are in life. That's where I think we need to really push younger people. Say, no, you have power.
Yeah.
You have a prejudice. There was an 8th grader that once saved me from being picked on. I was in the 4th grade. Sure did. Walked up and told that guy to stop. And he stopped, and that was the end of it. And I just looked at him like, wow, you're God. You know, 8th grade.
Wow.
Did he know his power?
Wow. But he used it for good,
But
didn't
he used it for good. And I'll never forget him. I remember his name.
Really?
I remember it
Let's
to
give
the
him
day.
a shout out.
Michael Carr.
Thank
Michael
you,
Carr.
for doing a good deed.
In Clarksville, Mississippi, I think.
Oh, that's great. Well,
Michael, hi, Michael. Don't I look great, Michael?
he made a good influence and got you through those horrible elementary years.
You know, which I know we got to go, but you know, part of it too, Whitney, is saying, I like me.
Yeah.
Doesn't that influence people when we say, I'm not the greatest, I'm not this, but I like me. This is who I am.
Warts and all.
Warts and all. Warts and flaws and all.
Yes, we all have them. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hate to keep talking about us, but that's how we connect. We get it.
Yeah, and we get each other, and then we laugh at our.
And then we laugh at our flaws, like you were 15 minutes late.
8.
Whoa!
Exaggerating.
Well, you know, I have a flair for the dramatic.
I love it. Much more Weekends with Whitney coming up right after this.